When you're going to sign something, make sure you read it and understand what you're saying, because for our application this last year, it was like, you are signing that you adhere to this deadline.
Your resume should be one page. You don't have enough experience for it to be more than one page.
I want to talk about ChatGPT.
For people interested in law school or in law school, we want to be that guide for folks that gives you the inside scoop you're not going to get anywhere else. We know what big law firms are actually looking for. Lock in and go big law.
Welcome to Lock In and Go Big Law. Today we're talking about
The do's and don'ts of the application process. How do you get firms to swipe right?
I just want to talk really quickly about timing, then let's get into the do's and the don'ts. So, because timing of applications has changed so much, and especially I'm specifically talking about 2L applications here. 2L applications used to not even be a thing, and then recently it's become a thing. And I know this past cycle, we opened ours up, March 3rd. Other firms opened it up earlier than us. I think this upcoming cycle, we'll see it even earlier.
I heard that some firms are opening up, the ones that aren't doing their 1L applications are opening up some 2L applications in November through January. And I'm like, how is that even a thing? What are we doing?
I don't know. But as we said in our previous episode, the fellowship is such a feeder for the 2L application that I'm like, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense that if you're already considering people from your 1L for the 2L, you might as well just open up your 2L application. And then you're just considering
little
everyone.
tandem offers situation.
Mean, it gives me anxiety, but I'm sure people do that. In your opinion, how do you time it right? Because it's could be open for so long now. You know, ours was open from March to June last year, or last cycle, I should say. But other firms are opening up earlier, right? It's open for a chunk of time. So how should you apply the first day it opens, or should you apply later on, maybe when you feel like a little more comfortable, or maybe when you know what you want to do? Like, your opinion, what would you do?
Okay, hot take. It depends, and everyone who's in the legal sphere get used to it depends. It's going to follow you forever.
It's like
just
you work at a law firm.
Yeah, but I think it's really important to individualize your application process. There's no one-size-fits-all approach. Right. But I would say, to your point, it's about when you're ready. Yeah. I think when you're ready, though, you are ready. You need to make sure that you're ready to go with all of the firms. Right. I think what's super important, what I've seen this last cycle, and I can speak specifically to our experience. So part of our application, students had to mark, I understand that as I apply, I am going to adhere to this offer deadline. It's the XYZ. So I know that if I get an offer, I'm going to stick to this deadline. Right. I think what's super important when you're applying is to make sure that you fully understand all of the deadlines that you're applying to, so that you'll be ready to go and that the processes sort of fall in line in that way. And if you want to go to career services and talk to them about those processes, great. But what's super, super important, and my one do, is to make sure that you are applying when you are actually ready to go.
Yeah. I will say my one caveat to that, I do think it matters the size of the office that you're applying to, because in New York, we have a lot more spots to fill than maybe, say, in our LA office. It's just a smaller program, a smaller office. That's just how it is. That's how it is at a lot of different firms. So if you know you're applying to a larger office, I do think that gives you kind of a bigger window to apply, as opposed to if an office is filling up, 3, 4, 5 spots, it's likely they're going to be done hiring sooner rather than later. So I would and again, every office is different. Every firm is different with what, if they want, they want to look at grades, they don't even want to look at grades, or they want to look at 2 semesters of grades. Like, every firm is going to be different. So that's my only caveat to what you said, is make sure you know what office you're interested in and the size of their program, so that you don't miss out, you don't miss the boat.
No, I think that's super important. And I think one thing that I would do is create yourself a little Excel sheet of the firms you're applying to, the application really deadlines, maybe some research that you have about, to your point, the office size. I think a lot of firms are for lack of better terms, a little cagey about how big they're recruiting for, how big their programs are going to be. But you can ask,
historically.
Go on Yelp, right?
Yeah.
Go on Yelp's
Which
website.
a lot of people don't know about, but that's a whole other conversation.
Sponsors Yelp. Anyways, go on Yelp's website and you can look at the historical data of how big last year's program was. And, programs ebb and flow, but then it'd be in the ballpark of that. Right. And so you'll know, for example, that's a really good point. Our LA office, it's a much smaller program, right? It'll be 5 to 10, right? Where you, how much you typically recruit for in New York.
I mean, this past summer we had 21.
Right,
or we had 19 2Ls and 2 1Ls.
Exactly. But to my point, again, the do is make sure, and this is really fun little lawyer advice, when you're going to sign something, make sure you read it and understand what you're saying, because for our application this last year, it was you are signing that you adhere to this deadline. So don't come back afterward when you get that offer and say like, oh, I haven't had a chance to compare other firms, or,
like,
I actually haven't interviewed with anybody else. It's like, and why did you sign that?
So like you were okay with the 21-day deadline or 14-day deadline.
And maybe that was like, I can only speak specifically to us on that, but like going forward, a lot of firms are going to be doing that. And like some firms, they're not on OCI at all, right? Like they're doing their own direct application program. So they're going to want you to adhere to those deadlines. I want to ask you a question. In terms of timing, how do grades fit into it? So like, for example, someone has their first semester grades, right? And like, I could do better. But then they're feeling this, oh, everyone's opening up their applications. I feel like I should apply, but I wish I could have a second semester of grades. What do you tell that person?
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. Honestly, it's really tough. And there's like no necessarily like right answer. There's a couple different ways you go about it, right? Like you could just apply and see what happens. And especially if you have some type of a story or something that goes along with what, like if there was something that happened with your grades, or like, if you have a story to tell, you could just apply and see what happens. You could wait and have second semester grades. But again, you do run the risk of there not being spots. But again, as we said earlier, just know your deadlines, know what firms are looking for. There are some firms, I'm sure, especially like maybe some smaller firms, that want to look at 2 semesters of grades.
Right.
So you run a really good chance that they'll still have spots.
Right.
So you could prioritize firms that, are only looking at 1 semester of grades and giving out offers. You could just apply to those, see what happens. If you don't get any of those, then apply to the ones that are looking for 2 semesters of grades, especially if you think you really could kill it on the second semester. Then just save those for a little bit later. That's probably how I would go about it.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you also always have 3L hiring if, none of that works out.
Yeah, and honestly,
3L
like,
hiring, we're
my hot take is like 3L hiring, like in the next couple of years is really going to pick up.
No, I completely agree. Mark our words right now because we're calling it. 3L hiring we're going to see a real big resurgence of 3L hiring.
But let's talk about the do's and don'ts of like the physical application process. So like you're 10 toes down, ready to go. You know your deadlines. You're going to apply. The actual application process. Right. I am a big proponent of the cover letter. I feel like I hear all these kinds of things like cover letters don't matter. Don't waste your time. Please invest in the cover letter process.
Yes.
How do you recommend structuring cover letters to maximize them in the application process?
Okay. So agree. I love a cover letter.
Yes.
I know our application asks for one. Honestly, I think for any firm, even if it's not required, you should write a cover letter. It's your opportunity to tell a story. So like I tell everyone, I'm like, if you are going to school in an area, in whatever, Minnesota, why are you interested in New York? We want to know what your interest is in New York. And some people are like, my whole family's in New York. What are you talking about? But I would never know that from your resume.
Right. Right.
So tell me your story. Like, why do you want to be in New York? No, I love a cover letter. But I think it's really important to personalize it to the firm as well. I mean, you could, as I said, like you can personalize it to, the city that you want to be in. I also want to note that if you're applying to multiple offices at the same firm, make sure your cover letter talks about why you're interested in that. It is obviously very possible you could be interested in 2 different cities. Maybe you're partners in one city, but the rest of your family's in another city.
And
you
you're
could
torn.
you could land in either one. You're like, I'm fine being in either one. Tell us that. Let us know why you're interested. There's just a lot of good things you can put in a cover letter. So that's probably my first do is like, make sure you're writing your story. If you're interested in multiple offices, let us know why you're interested in multiple offices. If your resume doesn't quite nod to you being interested in that or you having a history in that city, let us know why you're interested in going to that city.
Right. And practice areas too, right? If you do have something specific or, one thing that I really like too is like, I know we talked about documenting all the interactions, but like if you had a really meaningful interaction at a reception, at a panel or something, and you met with someone and you're like, I met Genevieve and, at this panel, it's always great to mention that too, because I'm going to be honest with you, I hope that was a great interaction, because if you are going to drop that, you best believe I'm going to be like, hey, Genevieve, so-and-so said that they met you at this panel. How did that go?
Right.
So please drop that if you feel like it was a really good connection. To your point, like your cover letter should serve as that story extension of who you are that we can't tell on your resume.
Yeah. Those are my like big do's. Honestly, I have a lot of don'ts.
I know.
I've seen a lot of don'ts.
I've seen a lot of don'ts as well.
Yeah.
The biggest one for me is like spelling the firm name correct. Not the biggest one, but one of the biggest ones, spelling the name correctly.
Too. Yes.
Goodwin Proctor, Procter, not O-R. Like, I think a lot of people have that base cover letter and then like they're, going through it, writing things, and then we get a lot of, I want to be at this firm, and I'm like, that's not us at all. So make sure that you're proofreading. Attention to detail is so important. Don't let your cover letter work against you.
Yes.
That's my big don't.
And a lot of these mistakes we're going to talk about, it's like just these small mistakes that you're like, come on, no. I wasn't rooting for you.
We were all rooting for you.
Yeah, no, it's literally, I hope people get that reference. If not, that's awkward.
I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you. How dare you? Learn something from this.
Also, another big one for me, the recruiter's name. Make sure you have the right one. Just because the recruiting world is so small.
Right.
Like, I know when you're talking about the recruiter, like at White and Case, when you're, we know the different recruiters. And I certainly know if you're talking about a recruiter that doesn't work at, Goodwin.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Hopefully, Genevieve, hopefully you know who's on our team.
The amount of times, and I wish I looked up this man's name, the amount of times I've gotten a cover letter addressed to a man that works, I think it's named Goodwin Recruiting. It's like an external recruiting
It's like a staff
firm.
recruiting agency.
Like a staff recruiting agency.
Yeah.
Yes. The first time it happened, I was like, is this like a partner or something at our firm? I was like, where did they find this name?
Going
and I
on the
and so I
iNet,
Googled
searching who
it.
this
And I
is.
was like, oh my God, this is like a whole different. This man should be employed by Goodwin. The amount of times that I've eventually gotten I got so many cover letters addressed to him.
I
Don't
know.
do that.
Don't do that. Yeah, please
don't do that.
Okay, I want to talk about ChatGPT a little bit because
let's talk about it.
ChatGPT can be a best friend, a
Or your
frenemy.
worst enemy.
Yeah. It could go either way. Okay, I think, and it's okay if you disagree. I think you can use ChatGPT for your cover letter, but I think you have to be really thoughtful about it. So ChatGPT, a lot of when it generates content, will use the M dash, but it's like the super long M dash. And I looked it up recently, and like some people refer to it as the ChatGPT hyphen.
Oh, really?
But to me, I'm like, that is a dead giveaway that you use ChatGPT. It's like, I already kind of know you're going to use ChatGPT, but like, at least like fake it for me a little bit. And like, some of the partners, like some of the hiring partners that I've worked with get upset when it's that obvious. So like use ChatGPT.
Use it to your advantage. Like it's such a great tool. It's a good starting point.
It's a good starting point.
Like put it in there. And I don't blame you. Like I use ChatGPT sometimes, like write emails. Like I would do the same thing. I think it's smart. Yeah, like it's smart. But use it as a starting point and then go off of it and like make it your own. But it's very obvious when people copy and paste and you're like,
the
this
format,
has no personality at
the
all.
M dash, that super long M dash that sends me because I'm just like, you could have just reworked it. I think what's super important is like write your cover letter, put it in ChatGPT and be like, whatever you want to say, whatever your prompt is, it's a starting point to like clean things up. Don't have it write it completely for you. Thoughts?
Right. No, I completely agree. And I think, with ChatGPT, people are only going to utilize it more. So you heard it here first.
Yeah. No M dash for me, okay?
Resumes. Maybe this is a hot take, okay? My one huge do, which I like live by this, I tell everyone, you should have an interest section.
I am so into interest. Honestly, like I will go like, dude, boom, like straight to the interest section.
Same.
Because I want to know about you.
Yes.
Like, what are your interests? Do you have talents?
This
I want to
past
know.
season, we had someone, I think they were like a competitive online chess player. They might have just been a competitive chess player, but I'm pretty sure it was an online chess player.
That's so specific.
I know.
Yeah.
And they included look, I don't play chess, but they included like their chess score.
Okay.
And when I tell you, like we talked about it in our committee meetings for a good 5 minutes, and everyone's just like, wow, it's like really impressive. And then we're like, but do you think they like practice? And then we were just talking about it, and then I think they actually did end up getting an offer. It's such a good conversation piece. Also in your interviews, like me personally, like anytime I've gone on an interview, like people have been like, oh, you're interested in this, or like it's a really good starting point. And so I encourage everyone. I think it's a good thing you should do and a good thing you should have on your resume, obviously without any grammar or, any spelling mistakes.
How to spell your interest.
Know how to spell your interest. Make sure everything's not capitalized. So that's like my one big, I'm like, everyone should put this on the resume.
I agree. And I think like, especially as the recruiting team is looking at your resume and we're thinking of your interview schedule, right? We want to build it because it's a two-way street. Yes, we're interviewing you, but you're also interviewing us, and we want to make sure that we're facilitating that nice, natural, organic connection for you, put you at ease, and have you picture yourself at the firm, right? So like and our team generally, shout out California recruiting team, does a wonderful job of really looking and making sure that we're connecting you with people that we think are going to make sense for you. And so I look at the interests too. And if there's like a sports team on there or a sport or just something generally, if there's like a chess player that I knew, I would try to put them on your schedule.
Yeah.
So that's like a low-hanging fruit for you to be able to ease into a conversation with someone. And, I think interviews are inherently kind of awkward. Like, as much as it's awkward for you as a candidate, like interviewing people is also super awkward.
It's all kind of awkward. You're just like meeting a stranger and talking to them. You're supposed to like kind of
but if, for example, like in terms of interest, like I had someone who said that they had a soup-based lifestyle.
Wait, what does that mean?
That means that she
she
like,
only eats soup?
Google it, look it up. It's like real. So she like ride or die soups. And
I
so
love that
she
for
wakes up
her.
in the morning and she's like, what am I feeling? What's my energy? Like, do I need like more of a healing soup, like chicken noodle soup, or do I want
Oh.
something more hearty or something like that? But it's like actually like it's practice, and I had to think
Wait,
about
did you
it.
see this on her resume? And you
Yes,
were like,
it
gotta
said soup-based
Google.
lifestyle, and so then I met her at a reception,
like,
and I was
what
like,
does that
"Hi,
mean?"
I'm Jennifer. I read this on your resume. Can you
Yeah.
talk to me about it?" And she ended up getting an offer, not because she likes soup,
But-
honestly, like I was already thinking ahead. I was like, "Okay, Queen likes soup. You know, we have to have soup at every summer program
Right.
event. We got to tell the office administrator we need
It
soup
makes
for
you
lunch."
stand out. And when you know,
Yeah.
when you have so many applications, I think, and don't quote me
Yes.
on this, our last summer's program, like I think we had over maybe 4,000 applications
Yeah.
firm wide. And so anything that can make you stand out and like things like that where you're like, oh my God.
Just to like double down on that a little bit
Oh,
more,
yeah.
if you list something on your resume, you do be prepared to speak on
Yes.
it. Everyone is reading your resume,
Yes.
and that's kind of like the Bible of like who you are and your experience. And so, like, if you have a thesis or you're part of a
Yeah.
student group or you live a soup-based lifestyle,
That's actually a really
you
great
need to
point.
really be able to speak to that.
Yes.
And if there's something on your resume, like whether it's an experience or a student group or anything that you're like, I
Yeah.
can't have a meaningful conversation about this, take it off.
That's actually a really good point because this actually did happen this past, I think it was this past season, maybe 2 seasons ago. They all kind of blend together. Someone had a thesis on their resume and the partner asked them about it and they were like, oh, what's this about? And I'm sure that they did it, but they like weren't prepared to speak to it.
Yeah.
And so they gave some like really high level and the partner, it like killed it. The partner was just like, man, like you can't even
'Cause
speak
it's your
to this.
thesis.
Like, yeah,
Like,
they were like,
didn't
this
you
is your
spend a lot of
thesis.
time?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't speak to this. That's concerning.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really killed the interview. Like, yeah. So to your
no.
point, 100%. If it's on your resume, be prepared to talk about it. Yeah, have some talking points. Formatting is a very large. It really irks me. One, your resume needs to be in a PDF. Do not make it a
Don't
Word
send me a
document. Do
Word.
not send me a Word
Don't send me a
document.
Word.
It's gonna open up weird. The whole thing should be the same font in the same size. Maybe your name can be a different size. Okay,
Say
fine.
it louder for the people in the back.
Everything should be the same font in the same size. It's my biggest pet peeve.
I want
Like,
to
I
double down
can't.
on that and just say, like, it's not only recruiting team's biggest pet peeve,
Yes.
the attorney's biggest pet peeve. Like, their eyes, their brains, and the way that you're getting
Yes.
trained in law school, that's what they do all day.
Right.
And so, like,
If we
they're-
don't catch it, we will certainly get a call.
They do. It's, oh, did you notice there was like this one little space? And you're like, no, but
Yeah.
but they did.
They
And it's
did.
all those things, like back to, I think, what we talked about in our last episode. Being an associate, and especially a junior one,
Yeah.
is about attention to detail. And you're the one who's going to be doing formatting
Right.
and all of the things like that. And so when they're bringing folks onto the team, that's really what they're looking
This
for.
is your chance
Yeah.
to really show off all those skills. And also kind of in the same vein, spelling and grammar mistake. This past season, I had someone spell their undergrad major incorrectly on their resume.
You're like, girl, you got a
And I
whole
was like,
degree in
No.
this.
I was like, how does this happen? But again, like it kills your application. I'm like, I can't send this to the partners or to an associate and they're going to be like, hello, did you read this? And I get it. When you're looking at things for too long, everything starts looking the same. Have someone else look over it just super quickly. Like even whatever, put it in ChatGPT, have it double check all the spelling.
Just make sure there's no M dash.
Just make there's no M dash. Jennifer, it'll kill her. So that is like a huge one for me. Not to have another negative, don't.
Go for it.
But
The floor is yours.
Also, please, and I feel this way about laterals mostly as well. It should be one page. Your resume should be one page.
Yeah,
Especially if you're a 1L,
Yeah.
one page.
We know you're great.
You're great. You're fantastic.
wonderful. Use the cover letter to talk
yes.
about what else.
Use
back
your,
to the cover
back
letter.
to the cover letter. Always goes back to the cover letter. Use your cover letter to tell any other stories, but like, please, no. Like, you don't have enough experience for it to be more than one page. Unless you're going to like law school, like later in life, and you actually do have this whole long, like 50-year career. Okay, maybe that would be an exception. I don't think I've ever seen a 1L that had a 1-page plus resume that I've been like, oh yeah, you really needed this.
Yeah.
You don't. Cut it down to 1 page.
What I actually really like is like usually career services has a template because over time they'll be putting resume collects together and they
Yeah.
want the resumes to look similar. Go to them, have them review, use their template. It's usually nice and clean, succinct,
Right.
and they'll probably tell you to your face, like before we're telling you now, but they'll tell you again that it's just 1 page.
Right.
And it's okay. And don't include your photo. I'm sure you're
No,
wonderful.
It's not going to make you stand out.
It will make you stand out, but not for the right reasons.
Yeah.
I won't send you across to the hiring partner.
No, it's not.
And even if I
Yeah.
do, they're going to be like, what is this?
Even if
Like,
you think like, oh my God, this looks so generic and boring and like all the other ones, like, no, please make it
no
that way.
colors either.
No
Like
colors.
no rainbow colors,
Don't.
no photos. One thing that I would do is just make sure that, again, that it's nice and clean, ready to go, and that you're listing the student groups that you're a part of, especially right now. I think that's super important to show what you're truly interested in.
Yeah.
So do list them, but also be prepared to speak to them. So that was our do's and don'ts on getting firms to swipe right on you, and we'll see you next time.